Hello and welcome to this, which is going to be the start of this series of videos for the Seiko Jumbo, the 6138. You might be looking at this and thinking, whoa, what happened to that crystal? I'm sure it wasn't that bad last time around, and you'd be absolutely right. It wasn't that bad last time around. These vertical scratches that you can see are me trying just a little bit of an experiment, because this crystal is scratched to buggery anyway, and it's either going to be replaced or I'm going to smooth it. So what the idea is, I've got a bunch of wet and dry, and I'm going to work my way through the grits and hopefully end up with a smooth flat crystal. We'll see how that goes. So of course the first thing we need to do is whip off the case back, uncase the movement and get everything out of the case. And I'm just going to use the case with the glass still installed because it sits quite proud, as you can see there, and it is flat. So I'm going to use that as a holder, if you like. In fact, I'm going to use that as a holder even if you don't like. So there you go. What I'm doing here is just removing the automatic bridge and automatic winding works, because it's far easier to do that while it's cased than try and do that when it's out of the case and you've got the dial and hands to contend with. So the next thing to do is press in both of the pushers slightly so you can lift away the holding ring, slide out the pushers and springs. Otherwise they will make their way out and get lost, because the only thing holding them in is the movement ring. Release the crown, and at this point we can pop out the movement. Now let's see what we can do with this crystal. So I'm starting with 400 grit, and then I'm going to gradually work my way up through the grits to the finest, which is 3000. Then I'm going to move on to micro mesh, which goes up to something like 12,000 grit. This is just your basic, your bog basic wet and dry. And what I'm going to do, going up in increments, is we're going to start with this motion, move on to the next grit and to this motion, and then back and forth like this on opposing grits. And what this does is make sure that you've gotten rid of the lines from each previous grit, which ultimately will leave you with, theoretically, a flat surface. And I'm doing this on a flat surface, just my desktop here, which is flat enough for the purposes. It doesn't have to be machine accurate flat. So just adding some water to the paper, and then it's just a case of working it like this, stopping and checking it every so often, and we're looking to get rid of all of the scratches that were on there originally, and then we can move on to the next grit and work back round. It will look better while it's wet like that. Obviously once you give it a bit of a wipe, you will see it doesn't stay like that. But what we're looking to do is get rid of all these alternating scratches that are on there first and foremost. So get yourself a drink, lock in, get comfortable. This is going to be about 3-4 hours long, probably, as I work through the... No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to make you sit through that. So we'll be back a little further on. Here you can see the surface evening out a bit more, and what we're working for is to get rid of these scratches like those there that go off in that direction. I don't know how visible they are on your screen, but we need to get this so it's just evenly ground in that direction. Ordinarily, I would not entertain doing this on a mineral crystal or Hardlex, which is basically Seiko's version of a mineral crystal. This, I would ordinarily not entertain this under any circumstances, because this is an absolute chore. Unlike an acrylic crystal, which is relatively quick and easy in comparison. The reason I'm doing this is the crystals for this particular movement are not your typical run-of-the-mill ones. There are two different types apparently, and they can be quite expensive to get the genuine ones, and hence the reason, this being my own watch, hence the reason I am trying to save a little bit of money on sourcing and buying a replacement crystal. So anyway, on with the sanding. So we're here a good while later, and several sheets of sandpaper in from 400 to 3000 grit, typical silicon carbide. I'm now going to run through some micro mesh sheets, which are really good quality, from 2400 up to 12,000. As you can see, that's an improvement. It's far from perfect, but that's not bad. It's getting there. Is it worth it? Absolutely not. If you're thinking of doing this, it's a chore, and your arms will ache, and your hands and your fingers, and basically anything else that you're using to do this. But there we go. Quick note to say, this micro mesh, these micro mesh pads, or sheets rather, the pads tend to be sort of foam backed, but the micro mesh sheets are cloth backed, really tough, they're really good. These are what I use for acrylic crystals. Forget polywatch, don't bother with that, get yourself some of this stuff for if you polish out acrylic crystals on a regular basis. This goes from, this is 2400, it goes from typically 1500 grit up to 12,000 grit. By the time you finish with 12,000 grit, you don't need any further polish on an acrylic crystal. It will be nice and shiny and clear. Well recommend it. After 8 grades of silicone carbide paper and 6 grades of micro mesh paper, this is where we are at. Is it perfect? No. Am I going to do anything further regarding polishing it? Also, no. That took hours. Would I do it again? Only if I ever really had to. A new replacement crystal would have been better and easier. There are still some very fine scratches on there, but the really bad ones are polished out, and I'm happy enough with that. So that's the crystal done. This case and the remainder of the bracelet can now be disassembled, ready for cleaning, and then we can get onto the movement.